Welcome to this self-service analytics tutorial. This short video introduces the shared data repository environment from the perspective of a data scientist. Your presenter is Scott Ward. Scott is a senior data architect with over 37 years of database experience and 7 years working with Hadoop. Today, Scott will be sharing two key topics: how to access the SDR and understanding the organization and the components of the SDR environment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Let's start by talking about the various accounts and permissions needed to get started with using the SDR environment. Some of you may already have all the accounts needed, but let's go ahead and discuss to make sure. You should have accounts in JTDI, Citrix, CDSW, and Hue. You also need data permission for AAI, deck plate, and F18 data. Now, detailed instructions on getting all the permissions needed for the SDR has been created and can be found underneath the SDR's Microsoft Teams page. First, you'll need to be a member of the SDR Data Analytic Customer Team. If not, go ahead and get a hold of either JC Martin or Howard Westcott to get signed up. Now, sign on to the Microsoft Teams and go to the General Teams channel. You want to click on the Wiki tab, and then click on the SDR Guide link. Then you want to look for the PDF called SDR Getting Started. This has been created by Luke Hall. Luke's done an excellent job in creating this document. And don't forget, while underneath the JTI app, make sure you click the box for AAI, SDR AAI Analytics Sandbox. You want to make sure you check that one. Once you select the AAI box, you'll be assigned a role, which gives you certain Hadoop permissions. For those of you who are data scientists, you'll get the role of SDR_SSA_data scientist. This allows you to create data analytics within the CDSW, Python, Jupyter notebooks, plus Hue. You'll be able to create tables, save data, modify data, all within the newly created tables underneath the AAI database. Additionally, if you would like to watch some very good tutorial videos that might be of some interest, they can be found underneath the SDR Data Analytics Customer Team page as well. You want to go to the General Teams channel, click on Files, and look for the SDR Office Hours recordings. Some pretty good ones, so give them a look. To better help understand the SDR environment, let's first discuss some difference between a relational system versus a big data system. Now, RDMS are normally a proprietary owned framework, and they run on very large-scale memory-based hardware. Many of you have accessed a relational database before, reading the data out of the model-defined tables. The main purpose of a relational database system is to store, manage, and retrieve data as quickly as possible. A function that guarantees this is called ACID. It's an acronym that refers to the four sets of key properties that define a transaction: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Now, relational systems are used mainly with structured data and real-time applications. Now, Hadoop is an open source software framework used for storing large amounts of data and running applications on a group of commodity type hardware. It's not considered as being ACID compliant or having speedy responses. Hadoop is known for its petabyte of storage capability, high processing power, its management of multi-concurrent processes, truly scalable and flexible. It's used in predictive analysis, data mining, and machine learning, handling both structured and unstructured form of data. Let's discuss some of the components that make up the SDR environment. You have CDP, this is the Cloudera Data Platform, or Hadoop. You have CDSW, which stands for Cloudera Data Science Workbench. You'll be using it to develop your code. Hue, a Hadoop user experience. It's an interface for many of the Hadoop applications. Two of those, Hive and Impala, are both data editors used in creating and executing SQL queries. Hive is built for heavy ETL SQL jobs, while Impala is built for analytics. Scoop is a tool designed for efficiently transferring of bulk data. Tableau is used for reports and dashboard generator. As servers are used in file transportation, and ETL scripting, it's a process of extracting, translating, and loading data. The diagram you're currently looking at represents the SDR environment, shared data repository. You'll see how files are processed from the JTI file repository and loaded into Hadoop, pretty much the ETL process. You also see how deck plate data from Teradata is loaded through the scoop process into Hadoop. You should also notice that all the data is being loaded into a raw layer of Hadoop. You can see where various applications like DataViz, which is Tableau, Click, CDSW, Hue, and ERIC Tableau, all these pull data from the Hadoop system. Note that you can see where DataViz and Click are both outside the SDR environment, but are major tool components. Let's discuss a couple of possible new concepts. Some of you may know these and some may not. They're called tiers and layers. Now, tiers are stages or phases of development. It's a term used in most IT shops. Now, layers are data storage areas or states of usability, mainly found in the big data arena. Now, there's a total of 4 tiers and 4 layers that have been created for the AI self-service project. The 4 tiers are called initiated, integrated, QA, and production. The 4 layers are called raw, transform, enhanced, and trusted. As data scientists, you'll mainly use the initiated and QA tiers, where the initiate tier can be your development tier. All of this is done within the Hadoop enhanced environment. This diagram gives you an overview of all the intersecting tiers and layers, their use and purpose. Please notice the highlighted enhanced layer and the initiated and QA tiers. Folks ask, why is this important? And the answer is very simple. You now have a designated place to perform your task. Let's do a small example here. In your environment, you have one place to develop, one place to test, and one production environment. Now, I'm a data engineer developing code to load data, and you're a data scientist developing a report. Now, neither of us are allowed in the production area. So you, the data scientist, you run your application and development tier and layer. You get your results. You notice you have an error. You correct your SQL or your Python code and rerun it. Now, all of a sudden, the data is gone. The report is really useless, showing 0 results. So what happened? Well, me being the data engineer, I just ran my first load test and it accidentally removed all the data. Now, this truly goes on all the time, but having multiple tiers and layers assigned to groups does help safeguard against this, but it does not fully eliminate it. There's always a chance that someone in your team will change the data. Now, underneath the AI shared services setup, the data scientists and the data engineers will have their own layer to develop and test it. I hope you found this information in this video helpful. You should now understand the accounts and permissions you will need to access and work within the SDR environment. If you need further assistance, reach out to someone on your team or take a look at the SDR information available on the General's Teams channel, including detailed instructions written by Luke Hall. We also discussed how the SDR environment is organized and the tiers and the layers and where you develop your code. The key component for data scientists are CDSW, Hadoop, and Tableau. Plus, knowing how to write efficient SQL will go a long way in helping you to produce good code. We'll talk more about SQL and Hue in our next video segment, Introduction to the SDR Environment Part 2. Have a great day, everyone, and talk to you later.